Are you feeling hard stuck in Valorant? Do you feel inconsistent in your gameplay? I've been there and I had to reflect on what I was doing. After years of playing Valorant and finally reaching a RR peak of 900 last act, I found an effective minimalist routine that I'll share with you guys. I didn't always have a practice routine. I used to just queue up Valorant and just try to improve by spamming ranked games. Eventually I felt like I was hard stuck and needed a change, and that's when I started the aim train. The first thing you want to do is establish a purposeful practice routine. So you just want to set some clear goals and track your progress. I personally use aim labs for both warm up and aim training, which I consider my cooldown after I finish playing my Valorant ranked games, and I'll put my routines linked below. The important thing is that you want to train for specific areas of improvement, and you want to avoid the trap of practicing too much at once. Efficient practice yields real results. After aim training and creating a practice routine, I realized that I spent too much time aim training and not enough time improving at Valorant. This led me to obsess over my aim and constantly aim cope and change my sensitivity, and you don't want that. I was in that cycle for a pretty long time, I would say maybe a year when I was competing, and I was just a little too hard focused on aim training. I think the best way for you to implement a practice routine is the minimalist approach with aim training, so that you can have more time practicing in-game fundamentals or things like VOD reviewing, because that's really what matters. At least that's what I found has worked best for me, because I didn't really want to aim train for over an hour every single day. I kind of just wanted to queue and play some ranked games and get some RR and try to reach new peaks and things like that. That's why we will talk about how to implement the 80-20 rule. So the 80-20 rule is basically a concept that suggests that 80% of the output results from 20% of the input. In other words, as long as you're putting a really specific amount of time into something and it's really effective and dialed in, then you will get a large amount of the results, and that's what we're trying to do here with aim training. There's a lot of parts in Valorant, just like any other game. There's certain skills and strategies that contribute to your success. And for a lot of you, you probably aren't really focused on aim training. So this is a way to kind of implement aim training into your routine so you can get a little bit more consistent without it overtaking your routine and making you focus on aim too much. Because at the end of the day, Valorant is attack FPS, so it does require aim, but it is not an aim trainer. So you should just treat it as a supplement to your training and not your main focus. The important thing here is really that isolated training. So when you queue a ranked game, you're trying to improve at everything all at once, and that's a waste of time. But with the 20% input here, we're trying to just isolate your training specifically to your aim, and then that will give you 80% of the improvement in your game. So now we'll break down how you can get an equivalent of an hour's practice of aim training in just 12 minutes. Part of my aim training, I have a 12-minute routine. 20% of an hour is 12 minutes. Conveniently, this routine that Minigod made me is exactly 12 minutes. And in that routine, it has a large amount of routines that cover tracking, micro adjusting, flicking, movement reading, things like that are all really applicable to attack FPS. So I think that this routine is perfect for this minimalist routine with aim training, where you don't want to spend, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or even an hour aim training, covering all of the aim topics. These are kind of the main ones that relate to Valorant. And as you notice, because it is just 12 minutes, you do want to prioritize being consistent in your routine. So doing it daily rather than spending an hour or 2 hours a few days a week rather than every single day. You'll get a lot more results this way. I personally think that it's the more sustainable approach to training in general. So when you're actually doing the aim training, you want to make sure that your technique is good. So this means that you're not rushing your micro adjustments, or you're not blind flicking, which just means you're flicking and instantly shooting. You want to have proper technique to where you're improve on your aim incrementally rather than just, oh, that's like a lucky shot. You don't want to rely on lucky shots when you're training. Now, I've personally settled on a routine where I warm up for 15 minutes on aim labs. I use the ramp routine made by Minigod. And then I aim train for about 12 minutes after my rank games, which is, like I said, the separate routine that Minigod has made me. This has allowed me to have the most consistency and improvement in my aim so far without overly aim coping every time I die and change my sensitivity and things like that. I just want to reiterate, this is what I found has been best for me, so I don't over aim train and I can spend time VOD reviewing and practicing my peaking or practicing my mechanics and things like that. It's important to note that you can apply this 80-20 rule to those things as well. You aim train for 12 minutes a day, then you can spend another 12 minutes doing a VOD review, and then another 12 minutes practicing your peaking and the range or deathmatch. These are just arbitrary numbers, 12 minutes. You can do more, you can do less, but the point is you need to put in a lot of input to every single aspect of improving in Valorant and not trying to do it all at once. So yeah, there you have it. That's how you can apply the 80-20 rule to improve your Valorant gameplay. Remember, it's all about focusing on what gives you the best results. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Stay tuned for more tips and tricks, and until next time. I hope this helps, and let me know if there are any other topics you would like me to cover or expand on, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.